Hi, and welcome to the Yoga Studies Institute. I'm Tanya, and this month our Yoga Asana classes are going to be focused on Navanga. Navanga is a very special principle that lays the foundation to all of our classes here at the Yoga Studies Institute. It is infusing them with compassionate wisdom. Now, where does compassionate wisdom come from? You have probably already heard of the 8 limbs of yoga by Master Patanjali, practicing the yamas and niyamas, having our asana practice, our pranayama practice, and then moving through pratyahara, withdrawal of the senses, and then moving through the steps of meditation of dharana, dhyana, and then eventually samadhi. Now, each one of these steps, we want to be able to infuse it with compassionate wisdom. This is the 9th step, or Navanga. Nava is 9 and Anga is limb. In previous classes, we have spoken about the 5 layers of the onion. Remember, the outer one is the body, underneath that is the breath, underneath the breath is the prana, underneath the prana is the seeds, where our experiences are ripening from our previous thoughts, words, or deeds. And what's at the very core of that onion is emptiness, the blank screen. Now, what that means, it's that we have a very powerful tool, understanding emptiness and seeds. That's wisdom. And when we have that, we can transform our world. But in order to be able to transform it, we must have the right motivation. And that's having loving compassion. Where does that come from? Remember the 3 primary channels, Ida, Pingala, and Shushumna. Ida, where the emotions of ignorant desire arise, wanting to hurt another to get what we want. And on the right side, where hot emotions like anger, envy, or pride arise. And our mind is always wavering between the two. But when we use the inner and the outer methods, understanding emptiness and seeds, then we can start to direct the energy towards the central channel, the Shushumna, where loving kindness arises from, even joy. And when we have the motivation to want to destroy negative states of mind, not just for ourselves, but for others, we can start to experience a perfect world of having perfect health, perfect relationships, having successes in our lives, and be able to experience other people in our lives, like our friends, our families, and even strangers, have the same experience as well. So this month, this is what we're going to be practicing, infusing all of our practices with compassionate wisdom, Novanga. So I can't wait to share that with you in our classes, and I know all of our teachers are too. So see you on the mat.
Hello, my name is Alfonso. I'm from Mexico, but I currently live up in Canada. But every chance I get, I come back to Mexico to visit the family, to enjoy Mexico's beauty, Mexico's nice weather, and I really enjoy practicing yoga. It's gotta be one of my favorite things. But when I'm not doing yoga, I really like to learn. I like to read. I like to travel. But I really enjoy nature, and I really enjoy the beach. So I'll be hanging around on the beach, playing with the waves, and enjoying life, like you guys, right? Hope to see you in your next class. Thanks.
Hello, welcome to the Yoga Studies Institute. My name is Alfonso, and today we're having a moving in alignment yoga asana class. It's a 1 hour class, and it's perfectly suited for beginner students that want to learn the foundations of an alignment-based yoga asana practice. But it's also perfectly suited for intermediate students that want to deepen their understanding on the foundations of an alignment-based yoga asana practice. Okay, great. Today we're going to be exploring Navanga. So literally, if we take it in a literal sense, it translates as the ninth limb. It's something that we like to emphasize a lot here at the Yoga Studies Institute. And we like to think of Navanga as compassionate wisdom, and compassionate wisdom being the goal and the essence of the yoga practice. And by compassionate wisdom is this knowledge that being compassionate and loving with others in our life, it's what's going to create the causes for the effects that what we want to get what we want in our lives. So it is actually the core of the practice. And Master Patanjali, in his Yoga Sutra, in the verses 32 and 33 of the first chapter, he has this very nice verse, and he says, Tat pratisheda artam ekatatva abhyasya maitri karuna muditupekshanam sukha dukkha punya punya vishakayam. So what he's saying is that there is one practice, the most important of practices, that can take away all of the obstacles and sufferings that we have in our lives. And that practice is compassion and love. Maitri Karuna. So, Maitri, love, Karuna, compassion. So, understanding and having the proper understanding to know that where things are coming from the seeds in our mind, and how the seeds in our mind are going to create the world in which we're going to step on. So, creating a world out of love and compassion would generate a life and a world filled with love and compassion. And when we understand this with wisdom, when we really understand what the essence of the practice is, when we understand how what we're thinking is affecting our inner bodies in the 5 layers of our being, how our thoughts can alter our inner body. And as we practice our yoga, we also alter our inner body to alter our thoughts. But as we start to be very attentive to this, and as we understand that love and compassion brings the prana away from the side channels into the center channel, into that feeling of peace, settling, and just being connected with what is, then we can really understand with wisdom, with proper knowledge and understanding, that love and compassion are the essence of the practice. They are the main thing. And what we do in our mats, and all the poses and all the breaths that we take while we're practicing, is to prepare our mind and our body and our entire nervous system and inner body to be able to live from this place of compassion and love, and understanding with wisdom why this is the essence of the practice. Okay? Great. So see to what extent in your practice today you're able to recognize with understanding how love and compassion are the essence of the practice, and then see if your entire practice centers around the fact of preparing your mind and your love, and your mind and your body to feel the love, to feel that compassion. Okay? So bring in your practice today, consciously bring thoughts of compassion towards your practice, towards yourself, towards your body, into whatever comes to mind. Relate to it with softness, love, and compassion as much as you can. Okay? Great. Okay, so let's start our practice. So make sure you're comfortable in your sitting pose. If you need to refresh your pose, you can do so. Come into an easy sitting pose where your spine can be long and straight. I like to use blocks for our practice. I really think they help us for the support. So sitting on a height is really helpful for most of us to create the natural movement of the pelvis that we want the spine to lengthen. So you can use a block, or you can use a blanket or a cushion to elevate the pelvis. And that usually for most of us creates the favorable conditions for a better sitting pose. Okay, great. So find your sitting pose, make sure your spine is long and straight, and then allow your eyes to close. And let's create the foundational space for our practice. Let's connect with our breath, experience your breath. Allow your breath to flow to its natural rhythm. Both exhale and inhale flowing through the nostrils. And you're bringing your awareness to meet the air touching your nostrils. And if the mind wanders and goes elsewhere, just recognize that movement. And then with softness, come back to your breath. As many times as you need to. And allow the breath to be felt all throughout the body, the navel, the chest, wherever it manifests. And then see already if whatever's going on in your practice, whatever's arising, see if you can relate to every part of your experience with softness, compassion, and love. So notice any conflicts, any battles that start in your practice with your body, with whatever's going on, and see if you can soften and create a little bit space of compassion and love to relate to your experience with compassionate wisdom. Allowing your hands to come together to the center of the chest. Opening the space for our practice with the sound Om one time. In breath. You can release your hands. Allow your eyes to open. You can allow yourself to smile. Smiling releases any tension in and around the face and prepare us for our practice. Great. Let's start. So, as I said, I like to work with blocks. I really feel they help us with the alignment and the support. If you have your blocks, place the blocks to the side, to the front of your mat. If you do not have the blocks, don't worry about it. I will still give you cues for the alignment. Okay? So let's start on all fours. Let's make sure that the hands are under the shoulders. The knees are under the pelvis. And we're going to start warming up our spine with the cat-cow. Bring your awareness to the back of the pelvis. And then initiating the movement with the back of the pelvis. With the in-breath, pelvis moving up, belly coming down, top of the head moving up. And then with the exhale, pelvis down, belly up, top of the head down. And continue at your own rhythm. Just make sure that you're initiating the movement with the back of the pelvis. And it's flowing through the spine all the way to the top of the head. See if as you connect with your breath, the movement can become more fluid while staying precise, meaning vertebra by vertebra, from the back of the pelvis moving up all the way to the top of the head. And with the next exhale, you're going to project the back, round the back and project it up towards the ceiling, towards the sky. Take an instant to feel the breath, that space. And then around the shoulder blades, the back. And then with the in-breath coming back to center. Okay. Now we're going to bring our left hand onto the right shoulder, and we're going to bring the right hand in the back of the pelvis. We're going to inhale, take a long extension of the spine, And with the exhale, we're going to slightly turn the belly, ribcage, and chest. Bring in the right shoulder slightly back, just feeling a slight twist. Face soft, just soft. And then inhaling, coming back to center. And now we're going to bring the right hand under the left shoulder and the left hand on the back of the pelvis. Taking a deep inhale, lengthening the spine. And then again exhaling, turning the belly, ribcage, and chest. Bring in the left shoulder slightly back. And inhale back to center. And we're going to do the same thing one more time. So left hand under the right shoulder, right hand on the back of the pelvis. And then from here, inhale, lengthen the spine. And then exhaling, turning the belly, ribcage, and chest. And inhale back to center. Lengthen the spine. Exhale, right hand under the back of the pelvis. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, twist. And then inhaling back to center. So a very subtle twist. And now what we're going to do is we're going to keep our thighs aligned with the pelvis. So you don't want the pelvis to be moving beyond your knees. We're going to walk our hands as forward as we can. So I'm going to go slightly back on our mat so I have more space, keeping the pelvis like a string is pulling you back. The pelvis stays on top of the knees. You're going to walk your hands and bring in the forehead down towards the floor. If the head does not reach the floor, you can keep the head slightly off the floor. But ideally, you bring the head all the way to the mat, lengthening the arms. Now with the next inhale, you lift the head slightly. And you're going to root the right hand. And you're going to bring the left arm across. Bring in the shoulder and side of the head against the mat. And then from here, you want to breathe into the space in between your shoulder blades. And you can create a little bit more of twist by bringing the outside of the armpit towards the back of the head slightly, or a little bit less of the sensation of twist by bringing the armpit slightly in towards the face. Take a couple of breaths here. And then inhaling, coming back to center, settling your hands, and coming back, bringing the forehead against the mat. And now again, lift the head slightly, inhale, root the left hand, and with the exhale, bring in the right arm across, right shoulder down, side of the head down, and bring in the left armpit back towards the back of the head if you want a little bit more of a twist. Or bring in the armpit slightly towards the face if you want slightly less. And inhale back to center. Bring the forehead down, lengthen the sides of the torso. And slightly coming up. And walking your hands back under the shoulders. Okay. Now you're going to walk your hands slightly forward, half a hand forward. So the back of your hand is aligned with the knuckles of your fingers on the left side. And you walk the left hand forward. So both hands are now beyond the shoulders. Okay. You're going to tuck your toes under. Take a deep inhale. And with the exhale, pushing the tops of the thighs back and up. Hip crease up, heels up. Feeling strong thighs. Pushing back. Let's refine a bit. Inhale, tips of the toes. Lift the pelvis up. Hip creases moving up. And then keeping the pelvis moving up. Exhale, lengthening the heels to the floor. Inhale, tips of the toes. Exhale, unrolling vertebra by vertebrae, coming into the plank pose. And then inhale, lowering the pelvis, opening the chest, burning the collarbones. And then exhaling, pushing the tops of the thighs back and up. Hip crease up, heels up. Again, inhale, tips of the toes. Exhale, unrolling, coming into the plank pose. And then inhale, lowering the pelvis, opening the chest, burning the collarbones. And exhaling, pushing the tops of the thighs back and up. Heels down, pelvis up. One last time, inhale, tips of the toes. Exhale, unrolling vertebra by vertebra. Inhale, lowering the pelvis, opening the chest, burning the collarbones. And then exhaling, pushing the tops of the thighs back and up. Hip crease up, heels down. Inhale, bend your legs, look in between your hands. Walker step to come between your hands into a long back parallel to the floor. So the hands are on the top of the shin bones or thighs. Top of the head is moving away from the pelvis. Chest is open, collarbones broad. And then keeping the long legs, keeping the spine long and the chest open. With the exhale, bringing the belly slightly towards the thighs. Forward bend, Uttanasana. Now we're going to interlace the fingers over the back, projecting the arms forward and up. Head released, toes are soft, arches of the feet separating from the floor. Legs are long, breathing into the space in between, behind the legs, in between the shoulder blades. Now we're going to change the crossing of the fingers. Index and pinky change places. Projecting the arms. Lengthening the entire back of the body, the back of the legs, the back, reaching behind the neck. And then keeping the shoulders away from the ears. Releasing the hands down to the mat. Inhale, long back, parallel to the floor. Exhale, belly to the thighs. And then inhaling, lengthening the back of the pelvis to the floor. Arms to the sides, open chest, broad collarbones, arms up. And then exhaling, hands together in the center of the chest. We're releasing the arms to the sides. And checking now, you're on our Tadasana. So make sure that your feet are either hip width apart or the feet are together. In both cases, the toes are slightly closer to the heels. There's a slight internal rotation of the thighs. Feel the toes soft. From the back of the pelvis, you're lengthening to the four corners of your feet. Okay? And let's create a little bit of the stability of the pelvis in a twisting action. So bring your feet hip width apart if they're not already hip width apart. Okay? Keep the slight internal rotation. Now keeping the pelvis neutral. Take a deep inhale. And with the exhale, we're going to start moving towards the right. So bring the right hand on the left side of the pelvis and your left hand on the right side of the pelvis. See if you can keep the pelvis aligned and then lengthen the spine and exhaling, looking over your right shoulder. A slight twist as you keep your pelvis center and neutral. And then inhale back to center. Inhale again. This time around, let's create a little bit of length with the sides of the torso. And keeping the sides of the torso long, turning towards the left. And again, left hand on the right side of the pelvis, right hand on the left side of the pelvis. Keep the pelvis aligned. And then looking over the left shoulder. Both feet equally settling. Both legs equally long, pelvis neutral. Going slightly into a twist. And inhale back to center. So notice how in those twisting actions the pelvis stays neutral. Okay, great. So either keep your feet hip width apart, or you can bring your feet together, wherever feels more stable, more comfortable. Keep the internal rotation. Let's create some length again. Inhale. In the softness of the exhale, lengthening the arms up. Shoulders settle, arms lengthen. And let's find a little bit of balance now. Inhale. And with the exhale, we're going to be coming into the tips of our toes. So bring your eyes into a fixed point where you can settle your eyes. Inhale, and then exhale, coming into the tips of the toes. Come as high up as you can, settle the shoulders, and see if you can find some balance, some stillness. Keeping an inner smile. And then keeping the hands as high up as you can. Exhale, lengthen the heels to the floor. Feel the length on the sides of the torso. Interlace your fingers. Inhale. Exhale, project the palms of the hands up. Inhale, engage the thighs. And exhale, moving towards the right. Feel your entire right side lengthening. Your entire left side lengthening, as you move towards your right. Pelvis align, armpits align. Inhale back to center. Palms of the hands parallel. Change the crossing of your fingers. Exhale, project the palms of the hands. Lengthen the sides of the torso, engage the thighs. And exhale, moving towards the left. Now feel your entire right side lengthening. Face soft, chest soft. Inner smile. Inhale back to center, palms of the hands parallel. Engage the thighs. And exhale up and over your firm thighs into forward bend. Uttanasana. Inhale, long back, parallel to the floor. Exhale, belly to the thighs. And then inhaling, lengthening the back of the pelvis to the floor. Arms to the sides. Open chest, broad collarbones, arms up. Exhaling, hands together in the center of the chest. Releasing your arms to the sides. And taking a couple of breaths. So check your Tadasana. Make sure both feet feel equally settled on the floor. Make sure you're in the front of your mat. And feel both feet equally settling from the back of the pelvis, mount of the big toe, mount of the little toe, inner heel, outer heel. Thighs engaging, back of the pelvis lengthening. Shoulders moving slightly back and down. Slight external rotation of your arms. Chin parallel to the floor, slightly moving back towards the back of the head. Top of the head moving up towards the ceiling. Tadasana, mountain pose. In breath. Exhale, hands together in the center of the chest. And take an instant here to bring your awareness where you want your awareness to be. Come back to that compassionate wisdom. Come back to inviting thoughts of love and compassion towards your experience, toward whatever's going on for you, toward whatever comes to your mind. Relate to it with compassion as much as you can. Inhale. In the softness of the out-breath, lengthening the arms up. Inhale, engage the thighs. Exhale, up and over the firm thighs. Forward bend. Uttanasana. Inhale, long back, parallel to the floor. Exhale, belly to the thighs, hands on the mat. Right and left foot back, Baddhakasana plank pose. Exhale, soften the face. Inhale, lower the pelvis, open the chest. Broaden the collarbones, active legs, whatever variation you choose with your feet. Heels are lengthening back, thighs are lifting. And then exhale, push the tops of the thighs back and up. Hip crease up, heels up. Keeping the left thigh fully engaged. Exhale, lengthen the right leg towards back wall. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, right foot in between your hands. So make sure the knee's on top of the ankle. You can keep on the tops of the fingers. If you have your blocks, you can get more height, more support. And make sure the back leg is lifting, especially the inner thigh is lifting up towards the ceiling, and the top of the head is moving away from the pelvis. So breathe here. See if the elbow creases can move slightly to the front of the mat, opening slightly the chest. Take an instant here. Foundational pose. Now without walking the feet from the right hip crease, exhaling, lengthening the right leg. See if you can feel the right hip crease moving back, the left hip crease moving forward, the top of the head moving away from the pelvis. Okay. And then keeping your elbows aligned with your shoulders. See if you can bend your arms slightly and bring the belly slightly towards the thighs for a slight forward bend as you keep the spine lengthening, the sensation of openings in the chest. And if it's available for you, you can bring the right foot in flex, lifting the entire foot except for the heel, getting into the calf. So continue to lengthen. Inhale, bring the right foot down, bend the right leg. Bring your blocks down to the lowest height. Make sure the left hand is directly under the shoulder, and bring the right hand in the back of the pelvis. Inhale, lengthen the spine, and then exhale, turn the belly, ribcage, and chest. Lengthening the arm up. Face off, chest soft. Inner smile. And then inhaling, coming back to the center. Stabilize your blocks. Stabilize your legs. Lift your blocks, stabilize your legs like you're holding an imaginary block between your thighs. And once the legs become very stable, and you root the mount of the big toe on both feet, you can come up all the way up, bringing your hands on the thigh, lifting the chest, bringing the pelvis slightly forward. Inhaling, releasing the arms to the sides. In the softness of the out breath, lengthening the arms up, keeping the sides of the torso long. I'm going to bring your hands together in the center of the chest. Inhale. Exhale, coming slightly forward. And then with that length, turning the belly, ribcage, and chest to bring the left elbow on the outside of the right thigh. And using the tractions of your arms to create slightly more twist. With a face soft, just soft, and an inner smile. One full breath. Stabilize your legs. Come back to the center. Exhale, lengthen the arms. Inner smile. And then exhaling. Hands on your blocks. Stabilize, and without walking the left foot, you're going to bring the left heel to the center of the mat. So make sure the heels are aligned in the same line. Okay. Both aligned. I'm going to turn myself so you see slightly better. Heels are aligned in the same line. Arch of the foot and the back foot is moving away from the mat. And now that we twist it a little bit, we're going to create a little bit of length. So we're going to bring the right forearm on top of the thigh. You want to feel the buttock moving into the groin. The skin of the leg is moving back, with the elbows pushing the skin of the thigh slightly back. Knee stays on top of the ankle, arch of the foot away from the floor. Lengthen the left arm, bring the left shoulder back, inhale. And then exhale. When the arm across, coming into Utthita Parsvakonasana, feel the entire left side lengthening. And then inhaling, coming up all the way, lengthening the front leg, and turning the foot, moving the block so you can see, to come into the wide stance. So in the wide stance, make sure your heels are aligned in the same line. If you're not sure that your heels are aligned in the same line, you can always walk all the way to the back of the mat. And that way you can align your heels with the mat to just make sure that the heels are aligned if you're not sure. Okay, great. And now make sure the outsides of the feet are parallel to the outsides of the mat. So you want to lift the arches of the feet, but keep the alignment of the outsides of the feet aligned with the outsides of the mat. Your stance should be a generous stance. So ideally, if you lengthen your arms, your wrist should be more or less aligned with your ankles. Okay, great. Lengthen the back of the pelvis. Feel the hip creases lengthening. Engage the thighs. Let's create some length on the sides of the torso. Inhale. And then in the softness of the exhale, lengthening the arms up. Inhale. And then exhaling, keeping the sides of the torso long. We're going to turn again towards the right. Bring in the left hand on the right side of the torso and the right hand on the right side of, left hand on the right and right hand on the left. Lengthen the spine and then exhale, turn in the belly, ribcage and chest. Slightly over towards the right shoulder, towards the back. Pelvis aligned, thighs engaged. And inhale back to center. Create lengthen the sides of the torso again. Lengthen the arms. Keep the sides of the torso long. And bring the arms down, interlace the fingers, open the chest, lengthen the back of the pelvis. Inhale. And then exhale, coming up and over the firm thighs. Projecting the arms into Prasarita Padottanasana. This variation, would you feel the top of the head lengthening to the floor, pelvis lifting, legs active. Keeping the shoulders away from the ears, release the arms into a long back parallel to the floor. Bring the hands under the shoulders, long back. And we're going to twist again. We're going to bring the left hand directly under the face in between both hands. And you're going to bring the right hand in the back of the pelvis. Inhale, lengthen the spine. And exhale, turn the belly, ribcage and chest towards the right. You can lengthen the right arm up. Every inhale, lengthen the spine. Every exhale, going slightly deeper in the twist. Face soft, just soft. Inhale back to center. And after the twist, after twisting, let's lengthen again. Inhale. Exhale, bring the belly into the space in between your thighs. Grab your back of your ankles, the back of your heels, the back of the calves. Use the tractions in your hands to bring the shoulders away from the ears and lengthen the top of the head away from the pelvis towards the floor. Face off, just soft. Two more breaths. Notice if you're still relating with compassion to whatever is arising in your practice, in your experience, to whatever restriction, whatever idea, whatever thought comes into your experience. See if you can relate with compassion and love. And then inhale, long back, parallel to the floor. And you might want to place your blocks already to the front of the mat. We're going to the front of the mat. So you're going to turn your right foot to the front of the mat. Turn the left foot, right foot back, Balasana plank pose. Exhale, soften the face. Inhale, lower the pelvis, open the chest, broaden the collarbones, whatever variation you choose with your feet, active legs, heels lengthening back. And then exhaling, pushing the tops of the thighs back and up, hip crease up, heels down. Okay, for the second side, keeping the right thigh fully engaged. Exhale, lengthen the left leg towards the back wall. Inhale, lengthen. And exhale, left foot in between the hands. Coming into the tips of your fingers. Or again, onto the height of your blocks. Make sure the left knee is on top of the left ankle. And be especially attentive that the back thigh is lifting up towards the ceiling. Inner thigh lifting up. Top of the head moving away from the pelvis. and breathe. Foundational pose, and then just bring the elbow creases slightly forward so you feel the chest opening. Back of the neck long, spine lengthening. Without walking the feet from the right hip crease, exhale, lengthen the left leg. From the left hip crease, lengthen the left leg. Feel the left hip crease moving back, right hip crease moving forward, top of the head moving away from the pelvis, lengthening the spine, chest opening. And then keeping the elbows aligned with the shoulders. See if you can, as you lengthen, bring the belly slightly towards the thigh, creating a slight forward bend, slight more length in the back of the leg. And if it's available for you, you can bring the left foot in flex, lifting the entire left foot except for the heel, feeling the calf lengthen. Bringing the foot down, bending the leg. Now, bringing the blocks down to the lowest height. Make sure the right hand is directly under the right shoulder. And then bring the left hand in the back of the pelvis. Inhale, lengthen the spine. And then exhale, turn the belly, ribcage, and chest to the left, lengthening the left arm up. Face soft, chest soft. Inner smile. And then inhale, back to center. Raise the height of your blocks. Stabilize your legs, so like you're holding an imaginary block in between your thighs. Hold that imaginary block. And once the legs become very stable, you can come up onto your thigh, chest opens, pelvis moves slightly forward. Inhale, release the shoulders to the sides. And in the softness of the exhale, lengthening the arms up. Sides of the torso lengthening. Face off, chest soft. Inner smile. And then exhaling, keeping the sides of the torso long, hands together in the center of the chest. Inhale. Exhale, lengthening slightly forward, and then bring in the right elbow on the outside of the left thigh. And creating traction with your forearms to go deeper into a twist as you try to align the center of the chest with your hands. Left shoulder back, right shoulder forward. Stabilize. Face soft, chest soft, inner smile. One more breath. Inhale, come back to center, stabilize. And exhale, lengthening your arms up. Face soft, chest soft, inner smile. And then exhaling, hands on your blocks. And breathe. Great. Now, without walking the back foot, you're going to bring the right heel to the center of the mat. Heels are aligned in the same line. The arch of the foot and the back foot is moving away from the mat. And you feel the left buttock moving into the groin, into the center of the mat. You can create some length after that twist. We're going to bring the forearm on top of the thigh. And you want to really feel the skin of the thigh being pushed back. Inhale, lengthen the arm, bring the right shoulder back. Inhale. And then in the softness of the exhale, lengthening the arm, feeling the entire right side lengthen from the outside of the foot all the way to the tips of the fingers. Inner smile. And then inhale, coming all the way up, lengthening the front leg. And you want to turn the left foot with the right foot. So you're in a wide stance again. You want to move your block so you can see it slightly better. Again, heels are aligned in the same line. And again, if you're not sure, you can always walk all the way to the back of the mat, just to make sure that your heels are aligned, properly aligned. Okay? You don't want to encourage an asymmetric alignment on your feet, one leg forward, one leg up, because then you will get used to having your pelvis disaligned. Okay, so try to be very precise. The heels are aligned in the same line. And then the outsides of the feet are parallel to the outsides of the mat. Let the arches of the feet lift away from the mat. lengthen the back of the pelvis. Feel the hip creases lengthening. And then inhale. Exhale, lengthen the back of the pelvis. Feel that slightly more. And let's create some length. Inhale. Exhale, lengthening the arms up. Creating that length. Inhale. And then exhale, turning towards the left. Bring in the right hand on the left side of the pelvis. Bring in the left hand on the right side of the pelvis. Lengthen the spine. And then exhaling, turning slightly over the left shoulder towards the back. Face off, chest soft. Inhale back to center. Let's create length again. Inhale. Exhale, lengthening the arms up. Keeping the sides of the torso long. Release the arms to the sides. Change the crossing of your fingers, so it becomes a less habitual crossing. Inhale. Engage the thighs. And then exhale up and over the firm thighs. Into a variation of Prasarita Padottanasana. Projecting the arms, top of the head moving away from the pelvis. And then keeping the shoulders away from the ears, release the arms. Into long back parallel to the floor, hands under the shoulders. Lengthen your legs. I'm going to be twisting again. Now bring the right hand in the space in between your hands, directly under the face. And bring the left hand in the back of the pelvis, on the back of the pelvis. Now we're going to inhale, lengthen the spine. And exhale, turning the belly, ribcage and chest to the left. And you can lengthen the left arm up. Face off, chest soft, inner smile. Relating to compassion to whatever arises for you. And inhale back to center. And after all that twisting, let's lengthen again. Inhale, lengthen the spine. And then exhale, bring the belly into space in between your thighs. You can walk your hands back this time around. Keep the elbows aligned with the wrist, aligned with the shoulders. And use the tractions of your hands to push the mat slightly away from the heels, allowing you to lengthen the spine, top of the head moving towards the floor, away from the pelvis. Two more breaths. Feel with compassion for whatever's arising, whatever's being felt, whatever's being thought, whatever's arising in your experience. Fill it up with compassion and love. And then inhale, lengthening the spine. One full breath. And now we're going to turn the left foot towards the front of the mat. One hand on each side of the foot. Turning the right foot, left foot back, Palakasana plank pose. With the exhale, either coming into Chaturanga Dandasana without anything touching the floor except the hands and the toes. Whatever variation you got, keep the legs long, heels lengthening, take one full breath. And then exhaling, pushing the tops of the thighs back and up. Hip crease up, heels up. Inhale. And then exhale, bend your legs, look in between your hands, walker step into a sitting pose. Great. So in your sitting pose, you can lengthen your legs. And now you're going to bring the right foot on the outside of the left knee. And for today, we're going to keep the left side long. Okay, you want to really feel like you're pressing to an imaginary wall with the left foot, and you want to use your hands on the top of the shin bone to create some length. Great. Inhale. And then with the exhale, we're going to create some length, lengthening the arms up. Inhale. And then exhale, turn in the belly, ribcage, and chest. So the right arm comes across, hugging the left arm, hugging the right leg. Right hand behind the pelvis, aligned with the sacrum. Fingers pointing back, looking over the right shoulder. Use your hand to slightly lengthen the spine. So I'm going to continue to breathe and twist. As you continue to use the hand that's slightly pushing the mat away from the pelvis to create more length in the spine. And if it's available for you, you can bring the left elbow on the outside of the right thigh, looking over the right shoulder. Face off, chest soft, inner smile. Every inhale, the spine lengthens. Every exhale, you go deeper into a twist. And then inhale back to center. And you lengthen your legs. And you grab the skin of your buttocks to make sure you're sitting on your sitting bones. And now you bring the left foot on the outside of the right foot. Right foot pressing to an imaginary wall. Grab the top of the shin bones to create some length in the spine. Chest open, chin slightly to the chest, top of the head moving away from the pelvis. Inhale. And you really want to feel that you're grounding the mount of the big toe on your left foot. Okay? Inhale. Exhale. Lengthening the arms, create some length. And then keeping that length, exhaling, turning the belly, ribcage, and chest. With the right hand, hugging the left leg. Right foot pressing to an imaginary wall. Using the left hand to push the mat away to lengthen the spine. Looking over the left shoulder. Breathe. Every inhale, the spine lengthens. Every exhale, you go slightly deeper into a twist. And if it's available for you, you can bring the right elbow on the outside of the left thigh. So make sure the mount of the big toe stays rooted. And going deeply into a twist. Fingers can spread. Very soft. If that's not available, then just keep hugging. And if that's not available either, be whatever it's best for you. You can stay in whatever variation is best for you. But try to breathe, soften, and have those compassionate thoughts. And then inhale, coming back to center. Lengthening the legs. And then from here, we're going to slightly transition towards the floor. Keep your blocks handy. And with softness, you're going to use your hands and then your elbows to roll the back all the way back. And in the head on the mat, chin slightly to the chest. And grabbing the top of the shin bones to feel the entire back settling towards the mat, but also to feel a slight pressure of the thighs with your lower digestive organs and the lower navel. And then releasing the feet down to the floor. Make sure the heels are close to the buttocks, close enough that you can touch the heels with the longest of your fingers. And then from there, we're going to settle the pelvis, hold an imaginary block in between your thighs. So imagine your inner thighs are moving towards each other. Inhale, lengthen the arms. And then exhale, bring the elbows next to the ribs, settling the elbows against the mat. Upper arms and shoulders against the mat. Chest opening, shoulder blades towards each other, lengthening the back of the pelvis towards the heels. Take a deep inhale. And then exhaling from the outer thighs, lifting the pelvis up. Lift, lift, lift. Hold the imaginary block in between the thighs. Very attentive to, okay, let's go down. Let's make sure if you have a block, place the block in between your thighs. And if you don't, see if you can have that imaginary block in between your thighs. Maybe even you have a book around and you can want to play pause and go look for a thick book you can hold in between your thighs. I'll still be here, I won't go anywhere. Just kidding. But so get your book, get your block, or got the imaginary block in between your thighs. And then inhale. And then exhale from the outer thighs, coming up, all the way up. And then from here, you can bring your arms down, bring the shoulder blades in, and use the leverage of your arms to bring the pelvis higher up. Don't use the leverage of your arms, or if you're using blocks and you have a couple of blocks and you can use a block, you can use and come into the supported Setu Bandha Sarvangasana. So you are either supported with the arms, pressing against the mat, or supported with the block. Or if it's available for you, you can also support yourself with your hands. Whatever variation is available for you, we want to release the twisting action that we did with the supported back bend. We're going to take 3 more full deep breaths in whatever variation you're in. Try to soften, release, and continue to relate with compassionate wisdom to your experience. And then with control, either you lift to bring the block to the side, or releasing the arms to the sides, and then lengthening the back of the pelvis without losing the imaginary block, the real block, or your book. And then slowly you can release the block in between your thighs, and you can actually allow your knees to fall to the sides, soles of the feet together, knees opening to the sides. If you have the blocks, you can support the thighs with the outsides. Support your outsides of the thighs with the blocks. So the muscles will have a tendency to release their deepest tissues when they're supported. When they're supported with the bones, with the floor, with props, like in this case. And if you don't have the blocks, please bring the heels as close to the perineal as you can, as close to your pelvis as you can. So your knees are bent and they're protected from the side forces. Chin to the chest, lengthen the back of the pelvis slightly. And then come back to your breath in Supta Baddha Konasana. Create softness in and around your eyes. And pointing between your eyebrows. The corners of the mouth. Your fingers. And then be very attentive to softening and releasing your jaw. As the more the jaw releases, the more the pelvis will have a tendency to soften and release. Invite your tongue to settle to the floor of the mouth. And as the tongue settles, allow the tongue to broaden to the sides, away from the midline of the tongue. Softening the jaw, softening the throat, helping to release and soften the pelvis. And finally, see if you can continue to be attentive to your breath. Bring the breath to the region of the pelvis as you relate to what is with compassionate wisdom. Feeding your thoughts with compassion and love to whatever arises for you right now. Three more full deep breaths. And now with the help of the hands, or just slowly, bringing your thighs towards each other. Releasing the blocks to the sides. Allowing your feet to open all the way mat width apart, all the way to the outsides of the mat. Opening the arms perpendicular to your torso. Inhale. And with the exhale, letting both legs fall to the right, face falls to the left. And inhale to center. Exhale, legs to the left, face to the right. Inhale, center. Exhale, legs right, face left. Inhale, center. Exhale, legs left, face right. Inhale back to center. Bend your legs again. Chin slightly to your chest. You can rock slightly to the left and to the right. You can raise circles with your knees together in both directions. And then whenever you're ready, moving into Shavasana for the final relaxation. So find the variation of Shavasana that's best for you. Make sure that your body is symmetrically settling towards the floor. So both left and right side equally settling toward the floor. Both legs, both sides of the pelvis, both arms, both hands, both sides of the back of the head. Let go of all the actions in your body. Let go of any holdings, any unnecessary tension as much as you can. Come back to your breath. Come back to the softness in and around your eyes, the face, the mouth, the tongue. And come back to this feeling of compassionate wisdom, allowing those sensations, thoughts, and feelings of compassion and love to whatever is expand as you find your stillness and allow your entire body to be fully relaxed. Feel free to stay in Shavasana as long as you like. But for now, I'm going to guide you to come out. Allow your breath to deepen. You start activating your toes and your fingers. Take a deep inhale. With the exhale, lengthening in both directions. Arms back, feet forward, lengthen. Exhale, release. Bend your legs. Roll to the right, fetal pose. Then whenever you're ready, use your hands and arms to come back up. To find an easy sitting pose to end up our practice, you can use your support if you wish. And ending our practice with the practice of sharing. So bringing the hands together in the center of the chest. Let any goodness awakened by this practice be shared by all the beings in the universe. Inhale. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Thank you for your practice. Namaste.